So greetings, it's Mike from LiveMyAssOff.com, and we're currently at Sabang Beach, and we were actually up that way on the beach, where our little hotel is. And so it's just me and Gracie hanging out here. Ta-da! And it was funny because as we were coming down here, I just like stopped, and I've got a $100 phone, and so with this camera, I was just like, well, they have to make postcards somewhere. And that's basically what we got here. So we were just actually talking about the whole one of the things that I've been talking about for 3-4 years in my life, which is less stuff and more experience. And you could argue that I'm not the most frugal person in the world, that's for sure. But I do like a good deal, as much as the next person. But we found the place that we're staying at is 1,500 pesos a night. And the electricity will come on at 6 p.m. and go off at 6 a.m. which is all right. But we just like walked down the street and got a Coke, and now we're walking along the beach. And I love this time of year because it is effectively, I don't know if you'd call it low season here, right? I mean, obviously if it was December or January, we would say it was high season, right? But again, the kids are all out of school now, so it's kind of like potentially a peak season. It's it's the summer here, but it's I don't know. Yeah, well, we've seen Filipino families.
But if we're in Boracay,
Well, yeah, Boracay. It's funny. She just mentioned if we were in Boracay, it would be peak. Boracay's crowded year-round, and that said, it's much more crowded the week of Christmas and New Year's. That was pretty packed. But that said, I'm able to just walk down the beach and find a hotel. So they're not doing 100% occupancy, that's for sure. But so the topic of less stuff and more experience came up because we walked by a resort that literally has a sign advertising how much further it is to their resort, which basically means it's how many more kilometers it is to Sabang Beach. And they're called the Sheraton, and I'm sure they're Sheraton with a D, and I'm sure they're very expensive, even by Filipino standards. They're expensive by U.S. standards. And so for the most part, it's probably for very, very wealthy Filipinos or, wealthy tourists too. It's got a beautiful piece of land. It's right on the beach. It's awesome. But, instead, what we did with our money is we rented a car, which allows us to drive wherever the heck we want for the next 8 days, and explore an island that basically, I think if you were to drive from one end to the other, it would probably take you probably all in about 12 hours, like all the way north of El Nido, all the way down past Princesa, all the way down to the southern part of Palawan. And that's if you were just like sort of driving it. Now keep in mind that the speed limit, there's no speed limit technically, but for the most part, no one really drives over 60 kilometers an hour. But the whole more stuff like less experience, I gotta tell you, dude, our bed is not amazing, but it's great, and I think that this beach looks awesome. And I would rather just kind of chill out here and have our money to spend on, for example, the underground river tour that we're doing tomorrow. We're paying 1,200 pesos, and I believe the do-it-yourself article that I was quoting recently, they said 1,800, I think. I'm not sure. Anyway, we got it through the hotel, which was fantastic because there was that question of, oh, where am I going to be able to pay where am I going to have to pay the not the environmental fee. What's the fee called? Where you pay?
like environmental and terminal?
Terminal fee. Yeah, the terminal fee. And so there was a question about where we were going to have to pay that. So luckily that was solved by just walking up to the girl at the front of the hotel and saying, hey, what's it going to cost for us to go on your tour? And of course, 1,200 pesos sounded like a lot of money. I mean, at the current exchange rate, it is approximately 25 bucks. Our room is $50. Oh, so here's what's funny, right? So we're back in Princesa, and we're talking to a whole bunch of people about. Hold on, let me a second. I think I have something on the lens here. No, maybe not. It just seemed fuzzy. About like what we're gonna do and where we're gonna drive and where we're gonna go, and so we thought, okay, well, what we'll do is we'll drive up here, we'll get this rental car and we'll leave it here, and then, you know, just along the way we'll do this sort of thing. Well, the good news is that someone said, oh yeah, if you're going up to El Nido, that's awesome, but you might want to get some cash before you go, because they have one ATM. I'm like, in the whole city? They're like, well, they have two, but one of them's at the bank, and then the other one's like just kind of in this. I said, okay, so basically you've got one ATM. Well, and you think, okay, that's crazy, right? So we got a whole bunch of cash, and but we're down here in Sabang, a high tourist area, in the sense that everyone comes here to take the boat over there, or around that point, which will take you to the underground river. There's no ATMs here. And here's what's awesome. So the girl at the desk, and she goes, yeah, there's no ATMs. She goes, there's money changer places, but they, right now for the US dollar, they only give 39 to 1. And you would think, okay, yeah, almost 40 to 1, but no, it's 50 to 1. So, I mean, that is ridiculous, horrible exchange rates that they're giving for that. So, anyway, it's awesome here. And this is absolutely my kind of beach, meaning that I have awesome beach, I got a great sunset going on, and I got Gracie with me. Cool, right? Yeah, lucky guy. So that's pretty cool. Less stuff, more experience. I bumped your head, yeah, but with my huge bald head. So anyway, we're just gonna chill out here for a little bit, and you know, I gotta tell you, man, it was not excessive to get here. I mean, these beautiful places are not out of reach, I don't think, by any means. And as long as you plan ahead. So, anyway, it's Mike's from Sabang Beach, Palawan, Philippines, saying I hope you're living the dream, because if you're not living the dream, you're doing it wrong. Ciao. Good night from Sabang Beach in the Philippines.